I'm running. My bare feet slam against wet earth. My lungs screaming. My hand pressed protectively over the slight swell of my stomach. Rain pounds down through the canopy above, soaking through my thin jacket. Behind me, I hear them. Wolves howling in the distance. Hunting me. They say the mate bond is unbreakable. Sacred. Eternal. They lied. I felt mine snap 6 months ago. It didn't break like a thread or fade like a whisper. It shattered like bone. Sharp and sudden and so devastatingly painful that I collapsed in front of the entire pack, screaming until my voice gave out. And the man who broke it? Alpha Dominic Blackwood. My mate, my everything. The father of the child I'm carrying. He walked away without looking back. But here's the thing about broken bonds and shattered hearts. They make you dangerous. And right now, he's tearing apart 3 territories trying to find me. Not because he loves me, because I'm carrying his heir. The baby he doesn't know exists. The baby he has no right to claim. So let me tell you how I got here. How the perfect Luna became a hunted rogue. And how the man who destroyed me is now on his knees. Desperate, realizing too late that some mistakes can never be fixed. It started 2 years ago. Before we proceed, I'd like to know where you're watching from. Drop your country in the comments, like this video, and hit that subscribe button. Now, let's continue. I was 22 when I met Dominic Blackwood. He was everything an alpha should be. Powerful, decisive, commanding. When our eyes locked across the silver moon pack gathering, I felt it instantly. The pull, the recognition. Mate. Within 3 months, we were bonded. Within 6, I was his Luna. Life was perfect. I was the pack's head healer, respected and loved. He was a strong alpha, fair and protective. We were that couple everyone envied, finishing each other's sentences, stealing kisses in corridors, falling asleep tangled together every night. "You're my everything, Elena," he whispered one night, his fingers tracing patterns on my shoulder. My mate, my Luna, my future. I believed him. God, I believed him. Everything changed on a Tuesday. I received a message on my phone, urgent, anonymous. A child from a neutral pack was injured near the southern border, dying. As the pack's head healer, I couldn't ignore it. I grabbed my medical bag and ran. My best friend Sarah tried to stop me. "Elena, wait. Let me come with you. Or at least tell Dom." "There's no time," I said. "I'll be back in an hour." That was my first mistake. The southern border was empty when I arrived. No child, no injured wolf. Just trees and shadows and the creeping realization that something was very, very wrong. Then I smelled it. Wolfsbane mixed with something else, something chemical and wrong. Before I could run, the world tilted. My legs gave out, everything went blurry. When I woke up, I was in a cabin I didn't recognize. And Kale Darkwater, Alpha, of the rival Bloodfang pack, was leaning over me with a smile that made my blood run cold. "Hello, Elena," he said softly. "Your mate is gonna love this." I tried to move, to fight, but my body wouldn't respond. The drugs, whatever they'd used on me, it had left me paralyzed, trapped in my own skin. Kale circled me slowly. "You know what's beautiful about scent bonds? They're so easy to manipulate." He leaned close, dragging his hand across my shoulder, my neck. His scent, pine and smoke and something predatory, coated my skin like oil. "Stop," I managed to whisper. "Please, I'm not gonna touch you, Luna. Not like that." His smile widened. "I don't need to. By morning, you'll reek of me. And when your alpha finds you..." He laughed. "Well, let's just say Dominic Blackwood isn't known for his patience." Then he bit down on my shoulder. Not a mate mark, a claiming bite. deliberate and visible. I felt my skin tear, felt blood run hot down my arm. "Tell Dominic I send my regards," Kyle whispered. "Oh, wait, you won't have to." He left me there, alone in that cabin, drugged and bleeding and covered in another Alpha's scent. I tried to move, tried to shift, tried to do anything, but my body was a prison. Dawn was breaking when Dominic's patrol found me. I was stumbling out of the cabin, disoriented and desperate when they appeared through the trees. Relief flooded through me. He was here. My mate. He'd understand. He'd believe me. But when Dominic's eyes met mine, there was no warmth, no recognition, just cold, burning rage. "Dom!" I gasped, reaching for him. "Thank God. I was drugged. I was set up, Cale." "Don't." His voice was ice. "Don't say another word." That's when I realized what they were seeing. Cale's scent all over me. The bite mark on my shoulder, my clothes torn and disheveled. "It's not what it looks like," I said desperately. "Please, you have to listen." But Marcus, his beta, was already stepping forward with 2 other wolves. "We have witnesses, Luna. They saw you enter the cabin last night, willingly." "What?" "No, that's impossible. We found this in your pocket." Marcus held up a silver cufflink, Cale's crest engraved on the surface. I'd never seen it before in my life. "I was set up," I said, my voice breaking. "Tom, please, you know me. You know I would never..." "I don't know what I know anymore." His jaw was clenched so tight I could see the muscle jumping. "All I know is my mate reeks of another alpha." They dragged me back to the pack house in chains. The trial happened that afternoon. The entire pack gathered in the main hall, hundreds of eyes watching as I stood before the council. I delivered half their babies, healed their wounds, mediated their disputes, and now they looked at me like I was a stranger. "Elena Moreau," the head elder said, "you stand accused of infidelity and betrayal of the mate bond. How do you plead?" "Innocent," I said firmly. "I was drugged and framed." "There was a message about an injured child. We found no record of any such message," another elder interrupted. "Then it was deleted or faked. I'm telling you, this was a setup." "We have 3 witnesses who saw you enter that cabin of your own free will," the head elder continued, "and the evidence speaks for itself." I turned to the crowd, searching for friendly faces, for someone who believed me. Sarah was there, her eyes red-rimmed, but when I caught her gaze, she looked away. Even my best friend doubted me. "Dom," I said, turning to where he stood rigid and silent. "Please, you're my mate. You know me. In your heart, you know I'm telling the truth." For a moment, just one heartbeat, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Doubt. Hesitation. Then Marcus leaned in and whispered something I couldn't hear, and Dominic's expression went cold. "The evidence is clear," he said, his voice flat and emotionless. "You betrayed our bond. You betrayed this pack. You carry another alpha's scent." "No," I breathed. "Dom, no, please. I won't be made a fool of." He stepped forward, and the crowd went silent. "I, Alpha Dominic Blackwood, reject you, Elena Moreau, as my mate and Luna of the Silver Moon Pack." The words hit me like a physical blow. "No!" I lunged forward, but hands grabbed me, held me back. "Dom, don't do this, please, I'm begging you. Alpha Dominic Blackwood, please, sever our mate bond." The world started to tilt. Effective immediately. And then it snapped. I can't describe what it felt like. Imagine your soul being ripped in half. Imagine every nerve in your body catching fire at once. Imagine the one person you loved most in the world carving out your heart with their bare hands while you're still alive to feel it. I screamed. I screamed until my throat was raw, until I tasted blood, until the world went white and then red and then, mercifully, blessedly black. When I came to, I was on the floor. No one had caught me. No one had helped me up. They just stood there, watching, as I lay shattered on the cold stone. Dominic was already walking away. "You have 1 hour to gather your things and leave Packlands," the head elder said. "If you're still here after that, you'll be dealt with as a rogue." I don't remember getting to my feet. Don't remember walking back to the cottage Dominic and I had shared. Everything was numb, distant, like I was watching myself from outside my own body. I threw clothes into a duffel bag with shaking hands, grabbed my emergency cash. A photo of my parents, both dead now. Thank God they didn't have to see this. The door opened behind me. Sarah stood there, tears streaming down her face. "Elena, I want to believe you. I do. But everyone saw. Get out! Please just listen. Get out!" I screamed, and she flinched like I'd struck her. She left. Everyone left. I walked out of that pack house with nothing but a duffel bag and a shattered heart. The rain had started, cold and relentless. No one said goodbye. No one tried to stop me. At the border, I turned back one last time. Dominic was standing at his office window watching. Even from a distance, I could see the rigid set of his shoulders. The alpha who'd whispered sweet things in the dark. The mate who'd promised me forever. He turned away, and I ran. I ended up in Greywick, a human town 200 miles from Silver Moon territory. It was small, unremarkable, the kind of place where no one asked questions if you paid your rent on time. I got a job at Murphy's Diner, waiting tables for minimum wage. Rented a tiny apartment above a laundromat that smelled like bleach and broken dreams. Every morning, I woke up and went through the motions, smile, take orders, pretend I was human, pretend I was fine. I wasn't fine. The severed bond was like a phantom limb. I could still feel it sometimes, an aching emptiness where Dominic used to be. At night, I'd dream of him, of us. And every morning, I wake up crying. 4 weeks after I left, I threw up my breakfast, and my lunch, and my dinner. "Honey," Maggie said. She was the older waitress who'd taken pity on me. "When's the last time you had your period?" I froze, coffee pot in hand. "Elena?" I counted backward in my head. Once, twice, 3 times, because surely I'd made a mistake. Oh God, no. That night, I bought a pregnancy test at the 24-hour pharmacy, locked myself in my tiny bathroom, peed on the stick with trembling hands. 2 lines appeared almost immediately. Positive. I sank to the floor, the test still clutched in my hand, and for the first time since the rejection, I felt something other than numbness. Terror. The baby had been conceived before Kale's setup. Before the rejection. Which meant there was zero doubt who the father was. Dominic. The man who destroyed me was the father of my child. I thought about my options. Running further. Ending the pregnancy. Disappearing so completely that no one would ever find me. But then I felt it. The tiniest flutter of life inside me. So small. So fragile. So innocent. This baby hadn't asked for any of this. Hadn't chosen to be conceived into a broken bond and a shattered life. But it was mine. Mine to protect. Mine to love. And I would burn the world down before I let anyone take that from me. If you're loving this story so far, hit that like button and let me know in the comments. Should Elena ever forgive him? Drop your thoughts below. 3 months passed. I was showing now? Not obviously, but enough that I had to wear looser clothes. Enough that Maggie kept giving me knowing looks across the diner counter. "You're keeping it?" she asked one quiet Tuesday afternoon. I touched my stomach instinctively, protectively. "Yes." The father, no. No, and he never will. She didn't push. That's what I loved about Maggie. She understood that some stories were too painful to tell. I was different now. Harder. The girl who'd believed in mate bonds and happy endings had died on that pack house floor. The woman who'd risen from those ashes. She didn't believe in anything except survival. I worked 2 jobs. The diner during the day, cleaning offices at night, saved every penny, started looking into fake human documents for when the baby came. I couldn't register the birth under my real name, couldn't risk anyone finding us, because I knew, deep in my bones, that this wasn't over. Dominic would come looking eventually. And when he did, I needed to be gone. I'd stopped dreaming about him, stopped crying. The phantom bond was still there, a dull ache I'd learned to ignore. Sometimes, late at night, I swore I could feel him, like he was reaching for me across the distance, like he was searching. But I pushed those thoughts away. He'd made his choice, and I'd made mine. Then I met Liam. He worked at the garage next to the diner. A rogue wolf, late 20s, with kind eyes and a scar across his jaw. We'd been dancing around each other for weeks, exchanging nods and careful smiles, before he finally approached me. "Your pack," he said quietly one evening as I was locking up the diner. Not a question, a statement. I tensed. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Relax, I'm not going to turn you in." He held up his hands. "I'm a rogue too. Have been for 5 years. Something in his voice, the resignation, the loneliness, made me believe him. "What gave me away?" I asked. "The way you move. The way you scan every room when you enter. The fact that you never order meat rare even though I can tell you want to." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Takes one to know one." We started talking after that. Nothing deep. Nothing dangerous. Just 2 broken wolves finding comfort in not being completely alone. He never asked why I ran. I never asked why he did. But one night, when I was 4 months along and starting to really show, he looked at my stomach and said, "You're running from the father." "Yes." "He hurt you." "Yes." Liam's jaw tightened. "If you ever need backup, if anyone ever comes looking for you, I'm here." I believed him too. For the first time since the rejection, I felt something like hope. Not for reconciliation, not for forgiveness, but for survival. For building something new from the ashes of what I'd lost. I was going to be okay. We were going to be okay. That's what I told myself. I was wrong. I didn't know it then. But 200 miles away, Dominic's world was falling apart. Sarah told me later, months later, when I could finally stand to hear it, what happened after I left. The pack started fracturing almost immediately. Disputes I would have mediated escalated into fights. Alliances I'd carefully maintained crumbled. The pack's healer position remained empty. No one could fill my shoes, and Dominic refused to try. He threw himself into alpha duties with brutal efficiency, became cold, distant, pushed everyone away. But at night, Sarah said, he'd go to our old cottage and just sit there in the dark. Sometimes for hours. Not moving, not speaking, just existing in the space where we used to be happy. Marcus, his beta, tried to reach him. "Dom, you need to snap out of this. The pack needs their alpha." "I'm fine," Dominic would say, his voice flat. But he wasn't fine. The severed bond was killing him slowly. Every wolf knew that breaking a mate bond had consequences, physical, emotional, spiritual. But Dominic had done it publicly, violently, without a second thought. And now he was paying the price. 3 months after I left, a pack member named Jenna was attacked by rogues near the eastern border. The wounds were fatal. She'd bleed out within hours. Sarah was there when it happened. When Jenna, dying and terrified and desperate for absolution, grabbed Sarah's hand and whispered, "I need to tell you something." "About Elena." "What about her?" Sarah asked. "We lied." Blood bubbled at Jenna's lips. "The witnesses. We were paid. Cale Darkwater. He paid us to say we saw her enter the cabin willingly. He wanted to destroy the bond, wanted to weaken Silvermoon." "I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry." She died before she could say more. Sarah ran. She found Dominic in his office, staring at maps, searching for any clue to where I might have gone. He'd been searching since the day I left. Obsessively. Desperately. "Dom!" Sarah gasped, breathless. "Jenna just died." Before she went, she confessed. About Elena. It was a setup, all of it. Kyle paid the witnesses to lie. Elena was telling the truth. The pen in Dominic's hand snapped. "What did you just say?" "She was innocent, Dom. She was innocent, and we... and you." Sarah's voice broke. "What have we done?" Dominic stood slowly. His face had gone completely white. No, that's not... She smelled like him. The bite mark? Scent bombs. Forced marking. Dom, she was drugged and framed, and we didn't believe her. Something in Dominic's expression cracked, then shattered. He shifted without warning. A massive black wolf with alpha eyes. And he destroyed everything in reach. His desk, his chairs, the bookshelf, papers and wood and glass exploding across the room. His howl shook the entire pack house. Every wolf in Silvermoon felt it, raw and broken and so full of anguish that several pack members fell to their knees. When he shifted back, he was on the floor, surrounded by wreckage, shaking. "What have I done?" he whispered. "Oh God, what have I done?" Marcus burst through the door, saw the destruction, saw his alpha broken on the floor. "Dom, I have to find her." Dominic's voice was hoarse, desperate. "I have to find her, and I don't even know what I'll say. How do you apologize for destroying someone? How do you take back what I did?" "We'll find her," Marcus said firmly. "We'll bring her home." "She won't want to come home." Dominic looked up and Sarah said his eyes were dead. "Not after what I did to her. But I have to try. I have to..." That's when he saw it. On the corner of his destroyed desk, a paper had survived. A medical report. He picked it up with trembling hands. Patient. Elena Moreau. Date. 6 weeks before the rejection. Results. Pregnancy confirmed. 8 weeks gestation. The paper slipped from his fingers. "No," he breathed. "No. He did the math in his head. 8 weeks before the rejection meant she'd gotten pregnant 10 weeks before that. 2.5 months before Cale's setup. Before the affair. The baby was his. She'd been pregnant with his child when he rejected her. When he severed the bond. When he let the pack exile her. Dominic collapsed. "Find her," he said, his voice breaking. "Find her now. Search every city, every town, every territory. I don't care what it costs. Find my mate. Dom. Find her." The search began that night. I didn't know any of this was happening. I was in Greywick, 5 months pregnant now, building a life. Learning to be okay. Then Liam came to me, his expression tight with worry. "Elena, we have a problem." My blood went cold. "What kind of problem?" "There are wolves sniffing around town. Not locals. They're asking questions. Showing your picture." No. "How many?" I asked, already moving toward my apartment, toward my go bag that I kept packed for exactly this scenario. "3 that I've seen. But Elena..." He caught my arm. "These aren't Silvermoon wolves. The scent is wrong." I froze. "Then who..." "Bloodfang." Kyle. Kyle had found me. But how? Why? What could he possibly... Then I understood. The baby. Somehow he knew about the baby. And if he knew, Then he knew what it represented, a silver moon heir, Dominic's heir, leverage, power. I need to leave, I said, shoving clothes into my bag. Right now. Where will you go? I don't know. Somewhere. Anywhere. A crash downstairs. Breaking glass. Liam's eyes went wide. Get behind me. We crept to the stairs. Below, in the laundromat, a figure moved through the shadows, male, tall, moving with predatory grace. He looked up. His eyes flashed gold in the darkness. Bloodfang. Elena Moreau, he called up, his voice mockingly pleasant. Alpha Kale sends his regards. He'd very much like to speak with you about that baby you're carrying. Run, Liam whispered. But I couldn't run. This was my home, my sanctuary, and I was done running. Tell Kyle, I called down, my voice steady even though my heart was racing, that he can go straight to hell. The wolf laughed. He said you'd say that, which is why he sent me to collect you. By force, if necessary. He started up the stairs. Liam shifted. A sandy brown wolf, smaller than an alpha but fast. He lunged. The fight was brutal and quick. Liam was good, but this wolf was trained. A warrior. Within seconds, Liam was down, bleeding from a gash across his ribs. The bloodfang wolf shifted back to human, grinning. Now, Elena, are you going to come quietly? Or do I need to? I grabbed the lamp from the side table and smashed it across his skull. He went down hard. I didn't wait to see if he'd get back up. I grabbed Liam, half carried him down the stairs, and we ran into the night. Behind us, I heard the wolf stirring. Heard him howl. A signal to the others. They were coming. Subscribe if you're rooting for Elena to escape. She's going to need all the luck she can get. What do you think happens next? Comment below. We made it to Liam's truck. He was bleeding badly, struggling to stay conscious. Drive, he gasped. I'll heal. Just drive. I drove. The rain started again. Heavy and relentless. Just like the night I left Silver Moon. I pushed the truck as fast as it would go, away from Greywick, away from the life I'd tried to build. Beside me, Liam pressed his hand to his ribs. Elena, you need to know something. Save your strength. They're not just hunting you. They're hunting the baby. He coughed, and blood flecked his lips. Whatever that kid represents, Cale wants it bad enough to start a war. I know. You can't do this alone. I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. He grabbed my arm, forcing me to look at him. Call your old pack, call your mate. Whatever happened between you, he's still the baby's father. He has a right to know. And you need protection. He broke me, Liam. He shattered me in front of everyone and walked away. I will never. Never is a long time when you're being hunted. I wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him that I'd rather die than go back to Dominic. But then I felt it. A kick. Small and fluttering. My daughter reminding me she was there. That this wasn't just about me anymore. I pulled over to the side of the road, rain hammering the windshield. My phone was in my bag. I'd kept it all these months even though I never used it. Never turned it on. I pulled it out now. 87 missed calls. All from the same number. Dominic. My hand shook as I powered it on. It rang immediately. I stared at the screen. At his name. At the choice in front of me. Then I heard it. Wolves howling in the distance. Multiple voices. A pack. Bloodfang had found us. I answered the call. Elena! Dominic's voice cracked through the speaker, desperate and raw. Elena, is that you? Please, God, tell me that's you. They're hunting me, I said, my voice cold. Cale's pack. They want the baby. Baby? What? Elena, what baby? Rain pounded the roof. Wolves howled closer now. Your baby, Dom. I'm 6 months pregnant with your daughter, and if you want to meet her, You better get to Highway 47, 15 miles north of Greywick. Fast. I'm coming. I'm coming right now. Just stay on the line. Please don't hang up. Headlights appeared in my rearview mirror. Multiple vehicles, moving fast. I have to go, I said. Elena, wait. If I don't make it... My voice broke. If I don't make it, tell her I tried. Tell her I loved her. Tell her... You're going to make it. I swear to God, Elena, you're going to make it. Just hold on. The call dropped. I looked at Liam. How fast can you heal? Fast enough. He was already looking better, the gash closing. What's the plan? We fight? Against a full pack? We don't have to win. We just have to survive long enough for backup to arrive. What backup? I smiled grimly. The Alpha who destroyed me is about to learn what happens when you threaten his heir. The Bloodfang vehicles surrounded us. Doors opened. Wolves emerged into the rain. 6 of them, all warriors, all deadly. And at the centre, stepping out of a black SUV, was Cale Darkwater himself. He smiled when he saw me. Hello again, Elena. Miss me? I stepped out of the truck, rain soaking through my clothes, my hand protective over my stomach. Stay away from me, Kyle. I'm afraid I can't do that. You see, that baby you're carrying, it's very valuable. Dominic's heir, conceived before the bond broke. Legitimate. Powerful. He stepped closer. Cale Darkwater, holding Silvermoon's future. The leverage alone is priceless. Over my dead body. If necessary. His smile never wavered. Though I'd prefer you alive. The child will need a mother, after all. At least until it's old enough. Rage flooded through me. Hot and wild and feral. And something else. Something I hadn't felt in months. Power. My wolf, silent since the rejection, suddenly roared to life. Not just roared. Awakened. I felt it surge through me, ancient, primal, stronger than I'd ever felt before. My eyes flashed, and Cale actually took a step back. What? I shifted, but not into my normal wolf. This was different, bigger. Silver white fur with alpha eyes glowing like moonlight. Every Bloodfang wolf froze. Impossible, Cale breathed. You're an Omega. You can't... I lunged. The fight was vicious. I took down 2 of his warriors before they even knew what hit them. Liam shifted beside me and together we held them back. But there were too many. And I was pregnant, slower than usual, tiring fast. One of Cale's wolves got past my guard, claws raking across my side. I yelped, stumbled. Cale shifted. A massive dark wolf, easily twice my size. This was it. I couldn't beat him. Not like this. I prepared for the killing blow. It never came. Because suddenly the forest exploded with wolves, Silvermoon wolves, and at the front, the largest black wolf I'd ever seen, with alpha eyes burning like fire. Dominic. Our eyes met across the clearing. And even though the bond was broken, even though everything between us was shattered, I felt it. Recognition. Fury. Protection. He crashed into Cale with the force of a freight train. The battle erupted around us. Silvermoon versus Bloodfang. Alpha versus Alpha. I tried to help, but my wound was bleeding too much. I shifted back to human, pressing my hand to my side, feeling the warm blood between my fingers. Too much blood. I sank to my knees in the mud. No, I whispered, my hand moving to my stomach. No, please, not her. Not my baby. Dominic's howl cut through the chaos. He'd seen me fall. He abandoned the fight with Cale bounding toward me, shifting mid-leap. He caught me before I hit the ground. Elena. His hands pressed against my wound, trying to stop the bleeding. Elena, look at me. Look at me. Stay with me. I looked up at him, at the face I'd loved, at the man who destroyed me. The baby. I whispered. I know about the baby. I'm so sorry, Elena. God, I'm so sorry for everything. Kale's wolves were retreating. Silvermoon had won, but I was fading. Tell her, I managed. You're going to tell her yourself. You're going to be fine. But his hands were shaking, covered in my blood. Marcus, get the car. Now. The world was going dark. The last thing I heard was Dominic's voice, broken and desperate. Don't leave me again, please, Elena. Don't leave me. Then nothing. I woke up to the smell of antiseptic and pine. My eyes fluttered open. White ceiling, soft bed, medical equipment beeping steadily beside me. The Silvermoon Pack Hospital. I tried to sit up and pain lanced through my side. My hand flew to my stomach. She's okay. Dominic's voice, rough from exhaustion. He was sitting in a chair beside my bed, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles under his eyes, stubble on his jaw. His shirt was still stained with blood. My blood. The baby, I whispered. Strong heartbeat. The pack doctor checked. She's fine. You're both fine. His voice cracked on the last word. Elena, don't. I turned my face away. Don't say anything. I have to. Please, just listen. No. I forced myself to sit up, ignoring the pain. You don't get to do this. You don't get to play the concerned mate now. You severed the bond, remember? You rejected me in front of everyone. You didn't even let me explain. I know. His eyes were red. I know. I will never forgive myself for that. Elena, I found out the truth. About Kale, about the setup, about everything. Good for you. I've been searching for you since the day you left. Every single day. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't think about anything except finding you. You should have thought of that before you destroyed me. He flinched like I'd slapped him. You're right. You're absolutely right. What I did was unforgivable. I let my pride and my rage blind me to the truth. I didn't listen. I didn't trust you. And I will spend the rest of my life regretting that. Great. Now get out. Elena, get out! I screamed, and the machines beside me started beeping frantically. You don't get to be here. You don't get to pretend you care. You walked away from me when I needed you most, and now you expect me to what? Thank you for saving me. Forgive you because you finally figured out the truth? The door burst open. Sarah rushed in, followed by a nurse. Elena, you need to calm down, the nurse said. Your blood pressure. Then get him out of here. Dominic stood slowly. He looked at me one last time. Broken and desperate and so full of regret it almost made me feel something. Almost. I'm not giving up on you, he said quietly. Or our daughter. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm going to spend every day trying to earn it anyway. He left. I burst into tears the moment the door closed. Sarah sat on the edge of my bed, pulling me into her arms while I sobbed. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Elena, I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. I should have fought for you. You're just like the rest of them, I said bitterly. I know, and I hate myself for it. She pulled back, tears streaming down her face. But I'm here now. If you'll let me. I want to help. I want to make this right. You can't make this right. Nothing can make this right. Then let me try anyway. I looked at her, my former best friend, the girl who'd stood beside me at my mating ceremony, who'd held my hair back when I had the flu, who'd looked away when I needed her most. I don't know if I can trust you again, I said honestly. I know, but I'm going to prove it to you. Every single day. She squeezed my hand. You're not alone anymore, Elena. Not if you don't want to be. They kept me in the hospital for 3 days. The pack doctor, A kind older man named Dr. Chen monitored me constantly. The baby was fine, he assured me repeatedly, strong and healthy, a fighter just like her mother. You're healing remarkably fast, he said during one examination. Almost like he paused, frowning. Elena, has anyone ever told you about your mother's bloodline? My mother's? No. She died when I was young. Why? Because these readings are unusual. Your wolf is stronger than it should be, more dominant. Almost as if... He stopped again, looking uncomfortable. As if what? As if you have alpha blood. I stared at him. That's impossible. I'm an omega. Or that's what everyone assumed because you were small and gentle. He pulled up a chart on his tablet. But when you shifted during the fight with Bloodfang, witnesses said your wolf was silver white, alpha-sized, and your eyes glowed, I whispered, remembering. The power that had surged through me. The strength I'd never felt before. I'd like to run some tests. With your permission. I nodded, mind reeling. The results came back the next day. Dr. Chen looked stunned. Elena, your mother was from the Silvercrest pack. The Silvercrest? But that pack was destroyed decades ago. Dissolved. Not destroyed. They were one of the most powerful alpha bloodlines in history. When the pack dissolved, the members scattered. Your mother must have hidden her heritage. He met my eyes. You're not an omega, Elena. You're alpha-born. And that baby you're carrying, she's the first triple bloodline heir in over a century. Triple bloodline. Silvercrest, Silver Moon, and whatever my father had been. No wonder Kale wanted her. Does anyone else know? I asked. Just me, for now. But Elena, this changes things. Your daughter isn't just Dominic's heir, she's a target, I finished. An even bigger target than before. He nodded grimly. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going back to how things were. I wasn't going to be Dominic's Luna again, wasn't going to pretend the bond breaking hadn't happened. But I also wasn't stupid enough to think I could protect my daughter alone. Not from Kale. Not from whoever else might come hunting for a triple bloodline heir. I needed allies. Protection. A pack. But not Silver Moon. My pack. When Dominic came to visit the next morning, he'd been coming every day even though I refused to see him, I let him in. He froze in the doorway, like he couldn't believe I was actually letting him stay. I have conditions, I said before he could speak. Anything. I'm not coming back as your Luna. I'm not coming back to Silver Moon at all. Pain flashed across his face, but he nodded. Okay. I'm going to build my own pack for rogues, for wolves who've been rejected or exiled, wolves who need a place to belong. I'll help you, whatever you need, territory, resources, protection. I don't want your help. I cut him off. What I want is a treaty between my pack and yours, mutual defense, trade, but we remain separate, independent. He was quiet for a long moment. All right, if that's what you want. It is. I took a breath. But I'm not going to keep you from your daughter. You can visit. You can be part of her life. But on my terms, not yours. Thank you, he whispered. Elena, thank you. I know I don't deserve. You're right. You don't. I looked at him coldly. The bond is broken, Dominic. It can't be restored. What we had is dead. If you want to be in our daughter's life, you're going to have to accept that. I do. I accept it. I'll take whatever you're willing to give. He stepped closer, his eyes desperate. But please, just tell me, is there any chance? Any chance at all that someday you might... No. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. I loved you, I continued, my voice steady, even though my heart was breaking all over again. I loved you more than anything, and you threw that away. You chose pride over trust, rage over love. You destroyed me, Dom, and I will never forgive you for that. He sank into the chair, his head in his hands. I know, and I hate myself for it. Every second of every day. Good, because I'm going to make sure you never forget what you did. Every time you see me, every time you see our daughter, you're going to remember that you had everything and you threw it away. It was cruel, vicious even, but I meant every word. Drop a comment if you think Elena is being too harsh or if Dominic deserves worse. Let me know below. 6 weeks later, I left the Silver Moon Pack Hospital. Dr. Chen cleared me for travel, though he made me promise to check in weekly. The baby was thriving, 7.5 months now, active and strong. I could feel her constantly, kicking and rolling, reminding me why I was doing this. Liam was waiting for me outside. He'd healed from his wounds and had spent the past weeks scouting territory for my new pack. Found the perfect spot, he said, helping me into his truck. Neutral territory, about 50 miles west. Abandoned packlands with a main house and several cabins. It needs work, but it's defensible. Perfect. Sarah came too. And Maggie. Turns out she wasn't just a retired hunter. She was a tracker, a fighter, and exactly the kind of person I needed in my corner. 3 other wolves joined us. Rogues who'd heard whispers of what I was building, a place for the rejected, the forgotten, the broken. We called it the Shadow Moon Pack. Over the next month we worked, repaired the buildings, established borders, created rules, fair ones, based on trust and second chances. Word spread. More wolves came. By the time I was 8 months pregnant, we had 15 members. Small, but growing. Dominic kept his word. He provided supplies without demanding anything in return. Helped us establish the treaty. Stayed back and let me build without interference. But he visited. Twice a week, like clockwork. At first, I refused to see him. Then Sarah convinced me to at least let him help prepare for the baby. He's trying, Elena, she said. I know it doesn't erase what he did, but he's really trying. So I let him come to the ultrasounds. Let him help paint the nursery. Let him sit beside me while I folded tiny onesies and tried not to think about how this should have been. We didn't talk much. The conversations were stilted, awkward, painful, but he was there. And despite everything, despite the broken bond and the shattered trust, I could see he was changing. The proud, arrogant alpha who'd rejected me was gone. This man was humbler, quieter. He listened now. Actually listened. But it didn't matter. Because some things, once broken, can't be fixed. I went into labour on a Tuesday night. The contractions started around midnight. Sharp and intense, stealing my breath. Sarah was beside me in seconds, Maggie already calling Dr. Chen. I need to call Dominic, Sarah said. No. Elena. He's the father. I don't want him here, I gasped through another contraction. Not for this. But she called him anyway. He arrived 20 minutes later, out of breath and wild-eyed. I was too far into labour to argue. 16 hours later, at 4:47 p.m, my daughter was born. She came out screaming, loud and furious and absolutely perfect. They placed her on my chest, and I looked down at her tiny face, her shock of dark hair, her eyes that would probably turn gold like her father's. And I fell in love. Completely, devastatingly, irrevocably. She's beautiful, Sarah whispered, tears streaming down her face. She's perfect, I said, my voice breaking. Dominic stood in the corner, silent. When I finally looked at him, I saw tears on his face too. Do you want to hold her? I asked quietly. He crossed the room like he was in a dream. I placed our daughter in his arms, and he looked down at her with such wonder, such love, such absolute devastation that something in my chest cracked. "Hi, baby girl," he whispered. "I'm your dad. And I promise you, I'm going to be better for you than I was for your mom. I'm going to listen. I'm going to trust. I'm going to love you with everything I have." She wrapped her tiny hand around his finger, and he broke down completely. "I'm sorry," he sobbed. "Elena, I'm so sorry. For everything. I would give anything, anything, to take it back." I looked at him, at this broken alpha holding our daughter, at the man who'd destroyed me, now on his knees. "I know," I said softly, "but sorry doesn't fix what you broke." 3 months later, my daughter, Aurora, I'd named her, was thriving, happy and healthy and surrounded by love. The Shadow Moon Pack had grown to 25 members. We were stable, strong, safe. Dominic visited 3 times a week now. He was a good father, attentive and gentle and completely devoted. Aurora lit up when she saw him. And me. I was healing. Slowly. The phantom bond didn't hurt as much anymore. I'd built a life I was proud of. Found strength I didn't know I had. But sometimes, late at night, when Aurora was sleeping and the house was quiet, I'd remember. The good times. The love we'd had. The mate bond that had once made me feel complete. And I'd wonder if maybe, someday, in another life, things could have been different. But not this life. Not after what he'd done. One evening, Dominic arrived for his usual visit, but this time he brought something. A wooden box, hand-carved, beautiful. "What's this?" I asked. "Open it." Inside was a contract, legal documents, territory deeds. "I am giving you the Western lands," he said. "Full ownership. For Shadow Moon. No strings attached, no conditions. It's yours." I stared at him. "Tom, this is worth millions." "I don't care. You need space to grow, space to build. I want you to have it." He met my eyes. "I'm not trying to buy forgiveness. I know I can't. But I want to support what you're building. Because it matters. Because you matter. I can't accept this." "Yes, you can. For Aurora. For your pack. Please." I looked at the documents. At the gift he was offering. At the man who'd destroyed me, now trying desperately to make amends. "Okay," I said finally. "But this doesn't change anything between us." "I know." He smiled sadly. But maybe someday it'll change something in how you see me. Not as the mate who destroyed you, but as the father who's trying." He left after that. And I sat in my living room, holding my sleeping daughter, looking at the documents that would secure our future. Maybe he couldn't fix what he'd broken. But maybe, just maybe, he could build something new. 1 year later, Aurora took her first steps in the Shadow Moon Pack gardens. Dominic was there, catching her when she stumbled, laughing as she tried again. I watched from the porch, Sarah beside me. "He's good with her," Sarah said. "Yeah, he is." "Do you think you'll ever forgive him?" I was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know. Maybe. Someday. But the bond is broken, Sarah. We can never go back to what we were. Maybe you don't need to go back. Maybe you could build something new." I watched Dominic swing Aurora into the air, her delighted squeals filling the garden. "Maybe," I said softly, "but he's going to have to earn it. Every single day. For the rest of his life. And if he does..." I smiled. Small, uncertain, but real. "Then we'll see." Because the truth was, the mate bond might be broken. But we were both still here. Still trying. Still choosing every day to be better than we were. And maybe that was enough. Or maybe it wasn't. Only time would tell. I never got my fairy tale ending. Never got the perfect reconciliation. Never felt the mate bond restore. But I got something better. I got my daughter. My pack. My strength. My choice. And Dominic? He got the chance to prove himself. Every single day. No guarantees. No promises. Just the opportunity to be better than he was. Some days, I looked at him and saw the man who destroyed me. Other days, I saw the father who would die for our daughter. The alpha who'd humbled himself. The man who was trying. Would I ever forgive him completely? I didn't know. Would we ever be together again? Maybe. Maybe not, but we were both still here. Still fighting. Still choosing each other in whatever broken way we could. And sometimes, that's enough. Sometimes, broken things don't need to be fixed. They just need to learn how to exist together. Jagged edges and all. This is my story. The story of the Luna who was betrayed. Who survived. Who built something beautiful from the ashes. And the Alpha who destroyed her. He's still here. Still trying. Still hoping that someday I'll look at him and see something other than the man who broke my heart. Will I? Ask me in another year. Or 10. Or never. Because some questions don't have answers. They just have time. If this story touched you, hit that subscribe button. Because broken bonds and second chances, that's what we do here. Drop a comment and tell me, should Elena give him another chance? Or is some betrayal just too deep to forgive? Let me know what you think. And remember, you are stronger than what broke you. Always. Thanks for listening to my story. This is Elena Moreau, former Luna of Silver Moon, Alpha of Shadow Moon, and I'm still standing.